So, portfolios. We are looking, obviously, for 3 essays. The essays themselves do not have to be, I'm going to talk about essays first and then introductions. The essays do not have to be the same length. If you want to write 2 2,000-word essays and 1 3,000-word essay, that's fine. They should all be somewhere in the region of 2,500 because that eventually adds up to make your portfolio 8,000 words. The last bit of this is a 250 to 500 word introduction. Now, some of you have done introductions before, some of you haven't. You have chosen the topics of 2 of your essays thus far. 1 presumably still to be chosen for most of you. Now, you can either be really strategic about this, and you can write all of your essays about adaptations, or you can write all of your essays about things that tie to narration. However, if your essays are all totally different, don't worry. Your introduction can say something like, I'm investigating the relationship between literature and film as it developed through the 20th century. Fine, that totally works. The purpose of the introduction is to give your point of view a kind of framework. So it's your opportunity to control the presentation of your essays. What it should do is provide an introduction to the interests of the course for you. What did you particularly engage with and why? You can give us, a short description of each essay, but in doing that, try to say how this ties to your main interests and why you chose it. So you don't have to say, I chose it because, but indicate your engagement with it. So that's the idea. We will post on the VLE, if we don't end up being in class the last week, a sample of a not so good, a good, and a very good introduction. Longer is not necessarily better, but you probably don't want to go absolute minimum 1 small paragraph. Just give us a hint of why you're interested. That's really what we want. Something that tells us what your big idea is, what you've really taken away from the course. So yes, 250 to 500 words. We just want that to be, it's just an introduction. That's the idea. Yes?
How much would you say the mark? How much would you say?
Yes. So, good question. And I was getting there and I totally forgot about it. Basically, the marks come from an average of your 3 essays. They're not weighted, there's just 3 essays. There's a mark that's given for each one, and then they're averaged. We do round up. So if you're 0.5 or above, you're going to get rounded up. A good introduction can earn you an extra point or 2 on your portfolio. If you have good essays and you have provided a really thorough and engaging introduction, that could definitely persuade us to bump that up. Not more than a point or 2, but a point or 2 is nice. Yes?
Just going back to the virus question, so
Yes.
if it's worst case scenario and this place shuts down, Senate House shuts down, and we have to do all of the research online, are we going to be marked down for not putting in secondary written sources if we just wrote a dozen websites in the essay?
I would say as much as possible, do try to stick to scholarly sources. You have Muse and JSTOR. Also, Senate House has a lot of digitized books, so if you do have a Senate House library card, go and see what they have available online as well. So there are still a lot of good scholarly sources available online, so I wouldn't think you'd have to resort to Wikipedia. Don't do that. But yes, try to stick with your mainstream scholarly sources. If there's something that only exists in print, we will obviously forgive you for not having read it, particularly if it's on Essay 3. Essay 1, maybe not. Should have read it. You can also, however, I mean, we know this, but you can put your essays in any order you want. And you can also, for Essay 3, write about any material from Term 1 as well as Term 2. Or, if you haven't written an independent topic essay yet, you can do that. Although I would still encourage you to run it past myself or Andreas, just because it will make you safe. Other questions about portfolio and or?
What do you mean by the individual topic?
Oh, if you would like to write about a literature and film topic not covered by the course, you can do that.
Like Maltese Falcon?
Yes, the Maltese Falcon's a great one. Classic ending. So yes, if you want to, an adaptation is usually the way most people go. I've had some really interesting independent topic adaptation papers. So yeah, if there's something you're really passionate about and really interested in, and you want to write about it, maybe it's not an adaptation, maybe it's something else. But if there's something you want to write about, just run it by us so that we can be sure that you're covering the kind of material you need to cover. Yes?
So just the clinics in terms of work out. So the max can be 8,000,
Yes.
which includes the introduction
Yes.
and the footnotes and all of that.
Yes. The word count includes footnotes and introduction, does not include bibliography.
Yeah.
So that's helpful.
And I haven't yet, but is including like screenshots alright?
Yes. Yes,
Probably
including
not for my
screenshots is
essay.
completely fine.
Yeah.
I would advise you, just because it works a little better if you're going to do that, to make your document into a PDF
Yeah.
before you submit
Yeah.
it.
How bad?
Because otherwise it can get really screwed
Yeah,
up.
it's just sort of,
Yeah, so screenshots are great, and if you are referring to a specific visual moment in a film, they can be really helpful. Yes.
We need to, well, not footnote, but like caption the screenshots.
Ideally. Yeah, you can footnote them, or you can put, figure 1.1. That's fine. Or you can put K's office. Whatever works. Yes.
I mean, speaking of citing sources, are you able to use just like MLA citations?
Mm.
Or-
Yes, you can. The college likes MHRA, Money to Humanities Research Association. If you want to use MLA, that's totally fine.
Okay.
If there's something that's not available in MHRA, because sometimes they don't, I don't think it's a very good guide, but the Chicago style is almost exactly similar, and you can look up anything in the Chicago style. I think I did have to make up a reference for a music video one time, because there wasn't a style, so I combined the ones for a movie and a song. But basically, as long as you are giving all the information, and as long as that's clear and formatted according to one consistent method, that's fine.
Do they have to be consistent for from essay to essay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because it will drive me crazy if it's not. Yes, so please choose one format, follow that format all the way through, and do check, because footnote and bibliography formats are different. They include the same information, but they're ordered differently. Again, if you have all the information in there, we're not going to penalize you for putting the author's name first, surname, Christian name. We're not going to worry about that too much, but try to get it right. It's nice. Good discipline. Yes.
The final bibliography, do you want just one bibliography for all the essays, or you want each bibliography for each essay?
We prefer single bibliographies for each essay. So each essay should have its own final page bibliography separated. And again, I would always encourage students to submit as PDFs just because then it doesn't mess up your formatting. So like sometimes you space down and then you have like bibliography written at the bottom of the page once you submit it and it changes itself. It's not necessary, but if you're really into tidiness, it's nice.
So
Yes.
when submitting, is it going to be a link on the VLE?
Yes.
Okay, and it's and do you put them all into one file, or is it like separate?
Yes, so it is a link on the VLE. You should upload 4 separate documents. Introduction, essays 1, 2, 3.
So the introductions are separate.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
For the choose your own element, could we choose our own film and book pairing, but with a question that's been sent?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'm doing.
That makes your life a little easier. So if you have chosen an independent topic, you can totally use a course question because it gives you a framework within which to work. Yes.
So this is like a question about the first and second essay. No, the first and second. The last and second essay. But like, if I'm like worried about like the direction of where we're going, and I know that we're coming up to Easter because that's when break's happening. Who do we if we want to contact you or like anyone, is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Contact whoever you want. If you have a question, either Andreas and I can try to help you. Yes.
I'm actually planning on doing my assessment on Dr. Sleep, which is actually a sequel to The Shining.
Yes.
But like I'm thinking of that for the use of scholarly articles. I'm thinking about like not doing it like on the film, but like on its predecessor, The Shining itself, because I feel like that's piece just because there would be more research, but like it's also because kind of like it feels like the film integrates like 3 different stories.
Now this is actually this brings up a good question. You particularly if you are writing about something that does not have a lot of scholarly material attached to it, as Dr. Sleep doesn't because it's new. Some things just, there's not a lot of material around them. You can use material that is referring to something else, whether it's in the same genre, by the same director, referred to, and you can say, as Smith says about Kubrick's The Shining, quotation, and you say how this particular quotation acts with respect to Dr. Sleep. Yes? So but you can do that with other things. You can do that with In a Lonely Place. You can say, as Smith writes of Raymond Chandler's The Big Sleep, quotation, how this applies to In a Lonely Place, or doesn't. So you have the ability to bring in material that is not explicitly referring to the text that you're writing about, but is useful in regard to discussing it, is related. Questions? Further? Okay, cool. So, I think we've covered all the basic portfolio ideas. So if there is anything else that comes up, we will try to cover all of this really well on the VLE and probably put more information than usual. So do check. And we're going to try to make everything as accessible as possible, particularly because people may be staying at home because they're unwell or the college may close. So we're all trying to be responsible, and that's a good thing. But yes, if there is anything else, we will do our best to answer questions and to distribute information as widely as we can so that everybody gets a really satisfactory portfolio.